This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
And still with the End Bad Governance protests, the National Human Rights Commission has put out calls for any evidence of human rights abuses perpetrated during the protests. The call includes calls for evidence of violation of rights of law enforcement agents and journalists. Now, the Commission says it will continue to monitor the protests and take the necessary steps to ensure human rights are protected and promoted across Nigeria. This comes amidst allegations of abuse by security personnel. Joining me on this is Romy Mom. Mr. Mom is a legal practitioner and president of Lawyers Alert. Good morning and welcome to the conversation, Mr. Mom.
Thank you. Good morning and thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Can you start off with perhaps an estimation of what you've seen, whether we can quantifiably say or definitively say that there have been human rights abuses over the last 7 days of these protests?
Undoubtedly, the right to peaceful assembly or to express oneself as it was proposed is a human right. And the Nigerian Constitution also does recognize the right to, citizens expressing their God-given benefits as rights, if you want, in that light. So when people come out to do that, upon adequate notice to government, the responsibility is on government to ensure that they are protected, they are given the right to do that, and is held in an orderly way. But when from the bat off, there are signs and moves to restrain the exercise of those rights, and in trying to curtail them, persons unfortunately die, people are injured, are beaten and arrested and all of that, then undoubtedly you will say there has been some violations. Because the right, so to speak, to go out and express oneself by marching on the streets, it's an ordained right and our Constitution recognizes that. So when you come from the premise, undoubtedly there have been abuses. And so, there has been abuse of human rights, as we've seen in Niger, in Borno, Plateau, Kaduna, and several other states.
There's a current debate about whether or not police used live bullets. The IGP has come out to say that they didn't use live bullets in enforcing any sort of security. But despite this, we've had deaths occur. More recently, there's an allegation of the military being involved in the death of a student in Zaria, a student of the tertiary institutions in Zaria. How do we, if you like, draw the demarcation? Where's the burden of proof of whether or not security forces used the right, I'm careful to say weapons in this case?
I think it's unfortunate that we ask ourselves this kind of questions in this period, but when technology has gone so very far, and it's also an indication of where we are in terms of investigations. Otherwise, the bodies of these victims can be, we will carry a post-mortem to know what sort of bullets and who owns this kind of bullets and all of that. And that can, forensically, it can be proven if this ammunition or the bullets that kill the citizens are the ones used by our police officers or the army, if you like, and all of that. Because every arm has its own kind of ammunition that goes with it. And so I would think that in conclusively putting this to bed, because we have this during the NSAS riots where citizens were killed and we're not sure who did that and all of this, I think in the light of the allegations, these forensic tests and should be carried out to ascertain how these citizens died. But undoubtedly, some of them were felled down by bullets. That is not in doubt. And so, but who fired those shots and all of that, I guess, is something to be proven. But on the face of it, lawyers will tell you res issa loquitur, the facts speak for themselves. Who went to stop the riots with guns? Who went to stop the riots with bullets and all that? And how did people fall? How did people die from bullet wounds and shots and all of that? These are some of the things that we say that the facts speak for themselves. On the face of it, you can hazard a very good guess.
And just finally, Mr. Mom, what are your expectations of the National Human Rights Commission over the next few days or weeks, if you like?
Yeah, I think the National Human Rights Commission has done what it's mandated to do, which is calling on citizens whose rights are violated to report to it, and it will investigate. I'm pleased to know that it's not just the National Human Rights Commission. Several NGOs and human rights bodies are also documenting right violation, and in some instances, giving legal assistance to citizens whose rights purportedly violated or who believe their rights were violated in the course of this. So all hands are on deck to see how we can, have some remedial measures. But beyond this, for me, this is it. What are the lessons that we have learned from this? Because if the country had gone through the NHRC, we shouldn't be going through this again. So what lessons are we not learning that occurring that we can use as strength to, turn this around? What government agencies should be brought in to midwife any planned protest? Because this protest did not just happen on the country, just like the NSAS protest. It didn't just happen. We had enough notice. What was the modus of dialogue? Who was in charge of these dialogues and all of that? What did the police come out to say in terms of, these are the routes you can use. We're going to give you protection. We're going to give you water. So that at the end of the day, it turns out to be an actual peaceful protest or peaceful assembly. Why do we, from the back of things that we must stop from happening? Then the tensions begin to rise even at that time. Look, the Constitution says people can do this. And so when notice is given by citizens of the intention to walk the streets, the first thing to do is, okay, gentlemen, ladies, these are the routes you are going to take. And on that day, you have both the Civil Defense Corps, you have road safety, you have the police all shielding protectors and walking them down till they expand and ventilate their anger or their concern, and they go back home. This is what this is about. It's not about stopping people. The desire, the will, the urge, and the resolution to stop people is where the violence starts.
Well, Mr. Mom, thank you so much, especially for outlining that for us. Very critical conversations that we should have had from the beginning. I appreciate your time and your thoughts on the conversation this morning. My guest, Romy Mom, is a legal practitioner and president of Lawyers Alert, joining me to discuss the call for evidence of human rights abuses during the End Bad Governance protests. This is a call that was made by the National Human Rights Commission.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.